Good morning, fellow traders. How are we doing today? It is Thursday, July the 10th. And yesterday, this market had a huge move to the upside and gave it all back in the early morning, I don't know, the first hour or so of the day. So kind of a crazy move yesterday. Obviously, that was stemmed from the NVDIA news breaking the $164 mark and becoming the first company to break the $4 trillion market cap, which is pretty impressive. And it feels to me like this market is really trying to push off of that news. It really does. I could be wrong, but that's the way it feels. Things are looking pretty bullish across the four indices that I'm trading. The NASDAQ, the ES, the Dow Jones, and the Russell. Specifically on the Russell, we'll get there in a bit. NASDAQ, here's what we're looking at today. I really like this low, the overnight low, which comes in right here around the 22,980s. That lines up with some reactions we had earlier in the week. We had some overnight highs here on the 8th. We had a little bit of reaction here over the weekend. So that could be a nice little pullback long. I'm also looking for this area right here around the 23,000s for a pullback long as well if we do get that. I'm a little bit cautious with, like, typically I would like break and retest above the high of day. I'm a little bit cautious of that. We made a new high here. We made a new all-time high yesterday, kind of a wick high, but did break that new all-time high. And it feels like we're getting there, but then we're giving it back. And so I want to be cautious about that. I would not be surprised to see a pretty big rip above the all-time highs, though, if we get any kind of momentum today. So I think the safe play is looking for pullbacks to these areas, pullbacks to here, pullbacks to here. If we get big moves down below this kind of area between the low of day from yesterday, this really the 2920s to the 2900s, 22,900s, 2220s to the, let me rephrase that, 22,920s to the 22,900s. If we get something below there, then we'll be looking to take some shorts as we get down into some of these levels. I think, again, if we do get a move down, if that happens, it is a short-term play. It is not a long-term move. I think long-term, we are definitely trending upside, and we're in that pattern. So just need to be aware that sometimes you get these little pullbacks to reset and refuel. So that's the way I really like this. I really like a pullback here. If we get that, that would be awesome. So that's what I'm looking for this morning. ES, similar picture. We obviously pushed up right into these levels. We had a lot of reactions here around the 63.15, 63.10s, kind of where this overnight high is sitting at the moment. That could obviously change in the next hour and a half before this market opens up, but really looking at possibly getting a break and retest above there. I really like that. It would be longing into all-time highs, but there's enough room here that I think you get a nice trade there. Also would really like a pullback potentially down into this area around the 6290s. That 6290 has been an area of, had some reactions there yesterday, reactions here earlier in the week, and obviously we kind of bounced off of that in the overnight session. So if we get something there or in this overnight low area, if you get a pullback there, that could set up a nice long. This one could as well. You've got some reactions coming in here around the 6305s. I don't like that one quite as well, just because this feels a lot cleaner up here between the 6310s and the 6315s. So I really want to look for this as a pullback. If we get that, a break and a pullback there, or if we get a pullback down into these areas. If we get a big move down below this big area that we've been watching around the 6270s, then obviously we'd start to look to take some shorts. I'm not sure that I would short the overnight low into the 6070s. I think I would wait below the 6270s. I think that's the safer play on the short side on ES. Moving to the Dow Jones. This one's pretty clean. It has definitely gone sideways for the last few, actually this entire week, we have pretty much gone sideways. But we're still flirting with this 44,660. And I think at some point we're going to have to make a move off of that in a bigger way, whether we go to the downside or to the upside. But for right now, I think I'm really still looking for that. I'm looking for this. If we get a break and retest long, I like that play. If we get a break and retest below it short, I like that play. If we get a bigger move down, obviously you've got some areas here, the short below. If you get a move to the upside, I like the break of yesterday's high of day, which is an area that probably should be a level. You can see some very, very, very clean reactions here around the 44,835. So you've got resistance, support, and yesterday that turned into resistance. Well, it's been resistance, so to speak, but we tested that perfectly. So if you get a break above there, I think that's a really, really good long. So really like the Dow Jones. I really like what I'm seeing here. I think that's very clean to me in my mind. What I'm looking at right now, I think the Dow Jones is cleaner for me anyway than the NASDAQ and the ES. And so we're definitely going to keep a big watch there. The Russell, man, we like the Russell. It has just been rocking, and boy, it is really, really bullish right now. I mean, we have just made a big push to the upside. If you look at this week, I mean, it has just been a grinding higher move. And big picture, this thing is just really, really grinding. Now, again, we could see a pullback, but the daily 200 is sitting right here. You've got the daily 20 catching up. And so I feel like this is really poised for a bigger move higher. I really do. Definitely looking for, if we break this area, get a break and retest long above yesterday's high of day, really like that move. If we get a pullback into this area right here around the 62 or the 2265s, I really like that as well. If we get that, that could set up a nice long. You could short this. I'm a little bit hesitant to do that because of how strong this market is. If it's extremely clear, that could be a short. I'm not really looking for that right now. You could also set up something off the overnight low. That's really got a lot of reactions right here around the 60 or the 2260s. So there's some opportunity here. Really, that could be another long. But if you get a good break below that, that could be a short. It could be. If you get down below yesterday's low of day and this area around the 2235s, that could set up a nice short, but then you're shorting into the 200 EMA or the 200 daily moving average. That is cautious. I'm cautious of that. So just have to understand that you've got that. If you get below and you take this short, below the 2206s, you're shorting right into the daily 20. So that there's some reason for me to be hesitant about shorting. Not saying that it won't happen, not saying that the setup won't be there, but right now, as it looks at 8 o'clock here this morning, it looks like we definitely are looking for break and retest long setups on the Russell. I really like the Russell. I think the clearest for me today is the Dow Jones. Obviously, that could change by the time market opens and things shake out a little bit differently, but a couple of key watches there. Dow Jones, Russell, really like a couple setups there. Looking at the ES, we'll see what develops. I like this long the best if we can get it. This one here, I'm not quite as sure. This is a maybe. And then obviously on the NASDAQ, I'm looking for really kind of this low of day from yesterday and this 23,000. If we get a pullback to that, I'm looking to long. Other than that, I'm really cautious on the NAS today. I'm even here. I like this short, but it's got to be really clean before I take it. Again, this is an uptrending move. Everything's an uptrending move right now. And like I said at the outset, I really think my personal view of this right now is that this market is really aggressive because of the NVDIA news becoming that first $4 trillion market cap company. So, which is pretty impressive. But we'll see if this thing rallies off of that, or if we continue to go sideways. We do have news here in about 25 minutes. I think it's unemployment claims, if I remember right. Yep, unemployment claims this morning. FOMC yesterday did absolutely nothing. I was a little bit surprised about that, but FOMC was completely a nothing burger yesterday. I was expecting a lot more. I have actually barely traded this week. I've just been so busy with other projects and other things going on that I didn't even look at the market until it was almost closed yesterday. So I traded a little bit yesterday morning, but it didn't really get a chance to watch anything as far as FOMC, which really turned out to be nothing. But we'll see. We'll see how today goes. Hopefully we can find a good setup on one of the markets. Again, I think I'm really focused on the Dow Jones and on the Russell. If we get some setups there, that would be great. And maybe they occur on the ES or the NASDAQ. We'll take what we see. I'm really trying to make sure that I trade what I see, not what I think is going to happen. Sometimes it's a muddy line to really, define, but that is a good way to, in my mind, it's a good way to think. So All right, I'll leave you with that. I know I'm running a little bit later than I like to be on the daily trade plan. So there you have it. We'll hopefully have a good day today and hopefully be back at it tomorrow. So have a good day, everyone. Trade well. We'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care and so long.